GM, everyone. Welcome back to another Market Mates episode. Craig, I was so confused then because I opened up the Kick tab and I was like, holy shit, hold on. It sounds like the audio is like bugging. I was like, have I edited it wrong this morning? Because we got demonetized on the other one, unfortunately. It turns out it was just Kick with the open tab. Oh my God, that gets me all the time, the dual stream.
I go into panic every time, man.
Yeah, dude, I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? But anyways, it's all good. It was just my error on this side. But GM to everyone, or good evening if you're over the other side of the world. Like our guest today, Bren, who joins us all the way from America. It's great to obviously have Bren, a fellow trader in the space. We'll talk a lot about what he's looking at in the market. We'll talk about what he's bullish on, maybe what he's bearish on, and we'll get his takes. So, Bren, thank you so much for joining us here on Market Mates.
Hey. Greeny, Craig, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, it's been a long time coming, Bren. Welcome to the show, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Should be a banger. Bren's been around a long time, so got a bit of crypto knowledge under his belt, so this should be a banger chat.
Yeah, like I was telling you guys earlier, I mean, like you guys, I don't know how long you guys have been streaming together, but Craig and I have been in this group chat for a minute with Bra, that 100 DAO chat for a few years now, Craig,
yeah,
and then
probably 3-4 years now.
Wow, yeah, probably pumping up on 3, and then Greeny around the same time been following his stuff. So definitely a long time coming. You guys have stayed super consistent. I want to commend you on that, and yeah, definitely a long time coming. Excited to do this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you jumping on. And as always, guys, before we jump in, massive shout out to our two partners, OKX. You can sign up down below, the most trusted exchange in the world. I think it's if you do $1,000 of volume or $500 of volume, you get $75 for free. Nowhere else is offering that sort of deal. But as I said before, most trusted exchange out there. And Yeet, obviously, if we get a bit of Yeet volume, I haven't checked that today, actually. If we have a bit of Yeet volume, guys, we will do a giveaway at the end of the show. If not, we'll do it later in the week. But if we can't hit certain targets, then we won't do giveaway at all. So community members, if you are watching, make sure you hit some volume targets. Otherwise, we can't be just handing out free cash for nothing. So we'll dive into some top news stories. Arguably, this one is probably, now I apologize in advance. I'm still learning the layout of all of our new setups. So if this bug just goes crazy, I do it. Yeah, it's kick Craig off. That's what I thought it might do. It might do something silly.
That's better, man. That's way better.
So we'll pull him back. I mean, we won't have long on these news topics because we definitely want to chat, obviously, with Brent about what he's bullish on and what's happening in the market right now. I mean, maybe the 4 is a bit, not really, but we'll go with that. But anyways, yeah, did you guys watch this video yesterday? Like, Brent, obviously you are a US citizen, so it obviously probably applies more to you directly, but obviously this applies to worldwide economics. Let's go with Brent's take. Brent, what do you think about this whole speech about Jerome Powell basically getting investigated? Eli farming the views, idiots. Like, I hate seeing that. Accuse me of all this engagement. Like, shut up, bro. Shut up. Anyways, Brent, what did you take from this news overnight?
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, the whole thing with Powell. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know really what's going to come of it. I think, like most of the things, it's probably going to be mostly noise. I honestly don't have really a huge opinion on what's going to come from it. I want to hear more from you guys. But yeah, as a U.S. citizen, for sure, probably affects me more than you guys. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're just probably going to transition into a new Fed chair either way, and which will probably be more bullish overall for macro conditions, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, Craig, did you watch this video?
Yeah, dude, I saw this when it just, I think when it just came out.
Yeah, same. I quote, I didn't think about commenting. 74 million views, idiot for not commenting. Anyways, I quote tweeted it. But
yeah, I saw it within a few minutes because I think it was just after our stream.
Yeah.
So I was just wrapping a few things up for our stream and seen it. And my take on it, I mean, I think it's what a few rumors have been, e.g. Trump wanted rate cuts. He didn't play ball. Trump's decided to flex his muscle a little bit because obviously Powell isn't elected by citizens. So it's a bit of a tricky one. It's kind of the branch of the government that's not elected, it's selected. So I think Trump wants him out and he's obviously fighting back. So he's put the video was pretty intense, bro. I was like, wow, this is unusual. it's actually a really interesting situation where you've got a government head / government fighting with kind of with the Federal Reserve head. It's actually quite big, and I think what we're going to find. I think, long story short, he's going to be gone soon. I think this was Trump basically saying either you step down, or we investigate you, and we've got some dirt on you, and he's come out to protect his name. But I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of steps down due to it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was pretty much ready to do that anyway. It's pretty much just bullying from Trump, really. It is. It's just like, and we talked about this briefly yesterday, like about how like Trump has this very like bully like incentive about what he wants to see. He's a businessman, he's a markets man, he's an economics man, right? But like that, like, is he going to send it too far down one way that the next president or the next like 2 presidents, 3 presidents, whatever it is, like they have to get the undo this whole circumstance. Like, you've got to have a balance like in this. And I think it's very much a personal target here. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's just 2 big juggernauts going at each other, really. And it'll be very much interesting to see how this unfolds. Arguably, yes, I do agree. I think he's going to have to step down or at least quit soon. Otherwise, it's probably going to come out to light that he, has been investigated or something's happening there. So, I mean, the world of economics is always changing.
What was the whole thing they're investigating for? What he just
$2 billion renovations they did as well. They did a bunch of renovations. I don't know if you remember when Trump first got elected. Trump's quite forward thinking, man. Trump got Powell to take him for a walk around the renovations. And what he wanted from Powell is basically the invoices for the renovations. And what it ended up being is Powell didn't get the right AOK from above and ended up spending way over what he should have. And Trump actually went and made Powell show him around the renovations at the start of his term. So it's kind of, Trump's actually, I think, been playing this out for quite some time. So I don't know whether Powell has done some naughty stuff in the background or not. Look, let's face it, they probably all have. I think probably everyone in these positions has seen something.
Trump's in the $2 billion documents.
I was going to say the $2 billion renovation is probably the least of anything. That's
agreed. So I think they're going to get him on technicalities now, I think it's just business.
Could be just business.
Yeah.
Moving on to more news out of America, as Australia still doesn't really talk about crypto, rather we have other internal issues in our country. Each state in America seems very bullish on launching a crypto token or launching a crypto stablecoin. Moose posted, I don't know, like he saw this on the news, he said, but this is fascinating. Like we spoke about this previously. Was it Minnesota? I think Craig was the state. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember, but one of them last week or 2 weeks ago.
It's a state with an M, I think.
Yeah. One of the I think so. And I mean, one of those states announced that they want to launch a stablecoin to help, obviously, with their what was it, around debt? It was around payments. It was around tax. It was around all of that sort of infrastructure for their state. So, I mean, this is just like, I think it's inevitable, actually, that most things will move probably on chain, right? But online. Like digital currencies are going to be, stable coins are probably going to be the future of most Western society. So like strong economies, because they have the infrastructure there, they have the wealth there to build it. What are your thoughts, boys?
Yeah, no, for sure. You said it. I think stable coins, and I think A16Z, somebody from there kind of said it perfectly, that I think stable coins are just going to be like the money of the internet, right? And like crypto's kind of been theoretically that for a long time, but I think with the stable coins, they're going to be able to implement it in like everything. Like I think all these different companies, especially after the Clarity Act, which I'm sure we'll talk about, they're going to be able to use stable coins from the banks, which are already starting to do it, from Amazon, all these different companies, which are incentivized to use them because they'll be able to go away from like the fees that all the credit card companies have, especially stuff like restaurants. I don't know if most people know this. For example, like they have like 5 to 10% margins and they pay maybe 3% to the credit card companies. If they're able to eliminate that almost 30% ups a lot of these restaurants revenue, which that's just one example. So yeah, just to kind of conclude, I agree. I think stable coins and tokenization in general is going to be only grow from here. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so bullish on crypto. Not just over the next 3 to 5 years, but potentially over, the next 6 months to a year.
No, I agree. Is this going to take away from stablecoins that we know? Like, are all these places going to release stablecoins, and stablecoins as we know, like USDT, USDC, take a back seat?
It's like, oh, hey, I'm going to buy this token in the new NYUSDTC. Like that's the that's the pair I'm trading today, guys.
I think the way it'll work. I think the way it'll work is like you'll only be able to maybe use at Amazon, like the Amazon stablecoin.
Yeah.
And there's going to be so much money flowing into these stables. I think that Tether and the general purpose ones are just going to grow either way. I think.
Agreed.
My question to both of you: how do you get exposure to this as a retail participant?
I don't know, because I don't know how they release these things. Like,
yeah, well,
yeah, like, I have no idea. How do we take advantage, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
maybe by Circle. I don't know. Like, that's probably all there really is right now.
And I was going to say, Breen, is the purpose of these stable coins, because I know when they're divvying these up or whatever, you're cooking these coins up, is one of the things we looked at, Greenie, yesterday. There's privacy elements to them and probably rake backs as well. So even though it's stable coins, it's not stable coins as we know it. It's stable coins similar to how money works at the moment, e.g. with a bank, where they can claw money back and they can hide transactions. So it's almost like they like the idea of stable coins, but they don't like the idea of transparency or non-ability to claw back. So it's
I haven't really thought too deeply about that. Are they going to have the stables mostly probably on their own blockchains, I would think, and probably keep them private, like you were saying?
Well, yesterday's one, when we looked into Greenie, that was part of the parameters, was ability to claw back and ability to have privacy, which I guess businesses want, I suppose.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you wouldn't be able to send it.
Not to. I don't want them to be able to hide it. I want transparency, man.
Well, I mean, that's what the Clarity. Yeah, that's what the Clarity Act will obviously. I mean, Binance and stuff are the big ones. Like that's where the Clarity Act will be very interesting, in my opinion. Before we get to that specifically, Dubai also bans privacy tokens. Even though Monero just ticked over 600 this morning. They're tightening their stablecoin rules. The Dubai Financial Services Authority has banned privacy tokens and tightened up stablecoin rules. This update on crypto token regulatory framework takes effect as of yesterday. So interesting, because they're a tax-free country, right? So yeah, like I think the privacy, like it's Monero makes even, and Zcash obviously, and maybe some others out there, makes more sense if the Clarity Act does come along. But then how does that conversation even work? Like if Monero is very much like, because I've got into the other day, I was on YouTube and I got into, I don't know, like hackers and like scams and stuff. I was watching some guy who relays like some of the top scammers on the dark web, and a lot of the transactions were early Bitcoin days, like people sending millions of Bitcoin way back early, sort of mid teens of like that decade, so 2012 through to like 2015. But the other token that they ended up sending, which we tried to look for this chart yesterday, Craig, was Monero, but because it's been removed from so many exchanges, you can't actually find many charts of the whole history of Monero. But Monero was the other one. It was either Bitcoin or Monero that people would send on obviously the dark web or across all these sort of different places. And like how does it work? Like I've never really spent much time looking into privacy at all, boys. Like Brent, have you looked into privacy at all?
Honestly, dude, I think back in the day I messed around with Monero and sent like 1 or 2 transactions, but no, in the last few years I've really not. I mean, I think they should be legal, and I'm not surprised Dubai, which I'm pretty sure with a lot of these things are more kind of strict, and I don't know what I'd call it. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really messed around with sent too many transactions myself. What about you, Craig?
No, I haven't messed around. I was the same as you. I messed around with it years and years ago. I think first bull run, me in 21, I think I got a little bit of Monero. I can't remember why. But I haven't really dabbled with it too much, mainly for the reason I haven't really needed to. Like, I bought Bitcoin, didn't mind. Like, look, I mean, for me, I'm really pro transparency. Although in saying that, I guess privacy is an important thing for a sovereign individual, but I kind of like the idea of transparency. And me personally, I'd actually prefer us to have to be transparent, but especially businesses. That's what I would like to see. So, although I guess there is a place for privacy and every human deserves it, but I'd like to see businesses have to be super transparent, because I think that's where a lot of this fraud and stuff has come in. E.g., I think citizens generally, we have to do tax returns. We're transparent, but sometimes I feel those above aren't, and that's why I'm kind of like, well, I'd prefer everyone just to. I want everyone's cards on the table is probably how I want, but I don't think the world's going to play out like that. Unfortunately, what I want and what I'm going to get is two different things.
Yeah, I think it'll be like anything. It's like and, not or, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. This is pretty big, Greeny. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, like as someone that loves the game but just has no bloody time these days to game, PlayStation to integrate Ethereum and Bitcoin payments in 2026. I remember when there was a rumor, I'm going to say like years ago, about Avalanche being launched within GTA 6. Obviously, GTA 6 is rumored maybe still to be coming this year, could take longer. But this is a bit interesting that now PlayStation is very much going to embed Ethereum and Bitcoin. Again, Craig, we speak about adoption every day on the show. This is happening in real time. It's pretty crazy to think about. And I think you just want to have exposure to some of these, like the top assets, like we said, like it just makes so much sense to probably own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, probably a bit of XRP, maybe a bit of Link if you're bullish on the tech, for just the long haul and sit back and retire in maybe 10 years because they've all gone up a lot of money. Like, boys, what are you thinking? It's pretty bullish.
I mean, I'm a big gamer. Obviously, I don't get to do it as much as I like with family and kids now, but I just bought a PlayStation 5.
Mate, you're ready.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to load my wallet up, man. In fact, I use crypto to do my payments on there anyway, but I do that indirectly with cards on BitRefill. But I mean, simply integrating it, because I mean, retail's not going to do what I do. They're not going to go to a weird site, buy a gift card, then you know what I mean. They just want it to be frictionless. So, I mean, I know it's a rumor. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. But I certainly think PlayStation will integrate crypto payments, because why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why wouldn't you want people to be able to spend more money?
100%.
For sure. No, I think you said it, Craig. Who knows if this one is true? I would imagine they're already working on it, but I think the future, whether it's 6 months from now or 8 months from now when GTA comes out, or 2 years from now, I think the next like evolution of gaming is everything will be on chain. Just like you said, all this adoption from everywhere else. I think gaming is like one of the most obvious ones, where people don't even have to know it's crypto. It's just that every single item that or like skin or anything will be an NFT that people can trade in the marketplace. I think it's inevitable. Will it be GTA 6 that does it? That would be epic. I mean, they wouldn't even have to do a token. They could just do a GTA stable coin and then make every item an NFT. Obviously, that would send NFTs, probably be the catalyst that ignites like another NFT bull run and stuff like that. But who knows? I don't know. I think who knows about this direct rumor, this specific rumor, but I think crypto or blockchain gaming is probably inevitable.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I mean, it's going to be so interesting what NFTs, like how NFTs survive. I think they're slowly heading to zero, personally. A lot of them, like 99% of them, like most tokens out there. And like Craig and I always speak about this too, like most stocks, most companies that launch, they all trend to zero eventually. Most currencies that are launched also trend to zero. So it's a common theme across all assets, not necessarily crypto. A commenter says Sailor is a beast. What about Tom Lee? He's a beast as well. Like, who's the bigger beast? Who's the bigger juggernaut? Who's the more bullish bull out there? I'd argue Tom Lee's probably got the front run at the moment. Boys,
he looks perfect for crypto, though, doesn't he?
No, he's very much a crypto guy.
Look at him. He's definitely a crypto guy, man, or finance.
But yeah, I mean, they keep, he killed, I think he called out this morning or yesterday or something, 180K is still his, who knows where he bloody pulls these figures from for Bitcoin, but the largest Ethereum-focused crypto treasury firm lifted holdings to 4.17 million ETH. How much is that? That's like what? How much? I don't even know how much that is. Like,
I don't know, a few percent, right?
Yeah, a few percent. So pretty bullish. There you go. 3.45% of the circulating supply in control. So is that more than Sailor has of Bitcoin? I think that's pretty similar, actually.
Yeah, I thought Sailor had a few percent too. I know Tom Lee, he wants to have 5%. That's his goal, I think.
Okay. I mean, boys, is this bullish? Are you bullish on? Yeah, are you bullish on hedge funds, big capital raisers, countries like Venezuela, I suppose, have a lot of Bitcoin we spoke about previously. Like, are you guys bullish on that because it limits the supply that's on the open market, or are you less bullish because it's not really decentralized anymore?
I'm bullish. I think when it's people like Michael Saylor and Tom Lee, who, I mean, I've just watched a lot of videos of these guys, and I do believe that they have like a long-term vision and ETH and Bitcoin going up for separate reasons. I think Ethereum even more so. Like I'm bullish on it because I'm bullish on ETH either way. And I think we're going to see probably during this next run, whenever it is, that Bitminer and these other ones will be, I think, will be fine and continue to grow. But there will be people who raise money in different exotic ways that probably will blow up, and like the trend or the bubble probably will blow. But long term, I'm big believer in micro strategy, especially in Michael Saylor. I think every time we come down here, everybody just fuds micro strategy to death. And right now, obviously, the stock's down 80% or whatever, so rightfully so. But I think personally, I think as Bitcoin goes up over the next few years and next 10 years, he becomes one of the richest men in the world, and MicroStrategy gets up there in probably the top 10 companies, and he'll probably get fudded all the way up there. So same thing with Tom Lee. I'm super bullish long term. I think these guys are long term guys, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I agree with Brent as well. I think it is bullish, but like you said, Greeny, I think these guys have long-term vision. So I mean, as we're seeing in the price and on the chart, this sort of these bullish buys and this bullish sentiment isn't really translating hugely to Ethereum per se. But like Brent said, and like actually we spoke about yesterday, Greeny, with these guys buying up decent amounts of supply, I think eventually there's going to be a supply squeeze in some way. And Ethereum, I still think Ethereum will have its day in the sun like Solana did, or Ethereum did last cycle. It just wasn't this one, but perhaps in the next one, ETH gets a proper run. But I am bullish. I don't mind these big dogs doing this. Someone's going to do it, right? Some big guys are going to come in and want to buy up supply. For the little guys like us, I think it's a good thing. Buy up the supply, make it harder to get, and send the price higher. I don't really mind. Like I said, it's all been regulated now. These big guys are going to come in and want to own the asset that they like. So I think if anything, it's just a tip of the hat to that asset really. But I think long-term outlook here, not 3 months, 6 months. It could be 1 to 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. It's that, like, I mean, those guys, I mean, Tom Lee's average buy is like 4,000 or something. It's not very good. Yeah. It's pretty high. I mean, he's bought a little bit more recently, but yeah, his average buy would be well above where price is currently. But yeah, I mean, I just did a quick research, because obviously the goal of, was it sharding? I can't even remember the term. Was it sharding when they changed, back in 23 from Ethereum being inflationary to deflationary? So the supply has technically gone down. I'm not sure like what's the math on that. Yeah, daily burn fees is 7.71 ETH. So not a lot, but I suppose maybe if the chain is being used more, then it burns at a faster rate potentially.
Yeah, that's how it works, is when the activity is super high, then the burning is way more. Yeah, sometimes it's not even burning and it's actually a bit inflationary. So the average that it's slightly down. But yeah, in a time where ETH's running and the market's hot, then yeah, obviously they'd be burning a lot more.
Need NFTs to come back and get gas cranking.
No,
Other side, Mint 2.0, we need that.
Oh, dude, what a time to be alive. Even though I was sidelined to everything because I didn't have enough money at the time to get into it. I remember, I don't want to talk about all that. Like Azuki and stuff, I saw that at 3 ETH. I saw bloody Mutants at 3 ETH. I was just priced out at the time. I was because I was coming out of debt and whatnot. Far out, man. Anyways. Next topic and last couple topics is obviously Coinbase may drop their support for the Clarity Act, which is basically coming out in the next 2 days because of stablecoin conflicts. Really interesting. Brent, have you read about this morning? I'm only just reading this now.
No, I didn't get a chance to. Was it about stablecoin rewards or something? I remember that's what Brian Armstrong, I saw this video he's really fighting for.
Yeah. Rewards program. So warning comes as Congress mark up legislation. Coinbase say my minor perk. So 3.5% rewards for Coinbase One customers. The programs encourage people to keep their USDC on the platform, creating predictable revenue. Estimates that stablecoin related revenue could reach around $1.3 billion, or it did reach $1.3 billion last year. Some banking groups argue that allowing yield on stablecoin could pull deposits away from traditional. Well, that's the whole bloody point, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Lending to households and small businesses. Okay, yeah, but it's a transfer of. Oh, dude, this annoys me. I mean, this is a big thing in Australia still too, as well. Banks have too much control in this society. I know banks really do rule the world, and at the end of the day, they leverage more than they actually have. That's how it all works. But this is the retail participant. This is us three right here who are escaping our 9 to 5, trading a bit of cryptocurrency, trying to get ahead in a market where the juggernauts of the banks who have been around for hundreds of years have really ruled how society works. So I don't know, boys, am I out to lunch with that take, or is this a fair representation of why they don't want to let go of their control?
Yeah, they don't want to let go of the control, and I mean, I think that's part of the reason why it took so long to get clarity. Is they needed to put down the railway lines for banks to coexist with crypto, because I think government, and this is just what I think government's pretty in bed with banks, right? So I don't think governments are going to lead banks to the slaughter quite like we may like. Love or hate banks. I mean, they do provide a service, I suppose. So that's a great thing. I've got my home. I've got a home loan, so I can't really talk. I'm under their thumb. They've got me for 30 years. But look, I would love to see some competition come in for the banks and drive prices down, drive interest rates down. There's stuff coming out about credit cards. Trump wants to lower that percentage from what are we in here, 19-20% for credit cards?
I actually don't even know. I pay mine back every time. So
if you cash draw or something, it's about 20%, so it's quite high. So they're obviously trying to drive that down. I think that's a good thing. I think banks have had a monopoly too long.
Yes.
And one of the great things about crypto is it evens the playing fields, whereby the top dog has to lower fees. At the end of the day, I think that, with choice, the consumer always wins. So more choice, lower fees, consumer wins, and that's what I want to see. Brendan, what's your
I think I'd add that probably long term, that's like they're shooting themselves in the foot anyway, because that's just going to drive people long term to use like DeFi. I know it's not easy for the average person to use DeFi at all yet, but like when they add like these places where you can use like intermediaries, it'll just going to drive people away from banks anyway. So they're pretty much fucked either way, I think.
I think long term there's going to be other companies open up that act as banks in the future. Whether they behave any better than banks is something we've got to see, right? Once humans get a taste of money and profit, they tend to get a bit corrupt. But competition's great. I think this is awesome. And I find it quite funny watching banks try and claw. What I like is how they've kind of done everyone over for 30, 50, 100 years. And then they plead poor me when things go against them and they want consumers to stand by them. And it's like, dude, you didn't really stand by us for the longest time. Anywho, banking crisis 2008. Let's not forget that. They got bailed out then. They'll get bailed out again. So I don't know if it really matters. But hey, options are great.
Well, I mean, this is a little bit outdated. I was trying to find something about Australia because I think a lot of our viewers are not Australian. So it's always good to put things in perspective. Obviously, this is 14 years out of date, 15 years out of date now, but I'm pretty sure it's very similar. But the highest performing stocks in our country are literally outside of like natural resources, so like coal, energy, gas, mining resources like lithium and whatnot, which have had stages of growth in the Australian country. Look at literally the top market caps of this country, right? Bank. It's just crazy, man. So I'm all for it. And I agree with Brent's take. Like, if anything, it's gonna push people more to use on-chain or try and become one with using DeFi on-chain, or at least looking at DeFi opportunities, maybe not necessarily on Coinbase, but maybe somewhere else. I know in Australia you can't stake stuff anymore on our platforms because, again, probably the government had the same thing. They're like, no, we don't want that. And it's not even like, I don't know what interest rates are like for banks in America, but interest rates in Australia are at like 4.5%, I think, for your bank at the moment with your savings. Like, the staking protocols are less than what that was. So what's the real, like, there's nothing wrong there, in my opinion. Is it the tax side of it? I don't know. It's just a very interesting conversation.
It's literally just because it takes away people from like just putting their money in interest-bearing savings accounts or whatever. It's just a money thing,
right? Yeah.
I think it's just the removal of choice. They don't like the option of a B option. I know you said the percentage is the same, but someone like me, I prefer it on an exchange. I'd rather have crypto in there, which can appreciate, because my dollar doesn't appreciate, it depreciates. Whereas if I got Bitcoin over time, it can grow. If I can stake that as well and then get another earn, there's twofold to it.
Are you boys earning yield currently on any of your portfolios or coins?
No, not with my biggest stashes are, no.
No, I've been meaning to set up like a full node for the ETH one just to have one, but no, not currently.
How much is the node still? Whatever, wasn't it like
32 ETH? But I think you can obviously do the liquid staking where you can only do as much as you want, and then I do think I heard something they're changing something on the actual protocol so that you don't have to have the full 32. But I know for a long time it was 32.
Yeah, and that's Lido, isn't it, from memory?
Yeah, Lido is one where you could literally stake as much as you want instead of that 32, and then they just give you like another token, which is that liquid version of that, so you can stake on DeFi for even more stuff. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, interesting. Yeah, no, I was staking on OKX actually, and that's another big reason I like very happy for us to partner with them is because you can earn yield on their platform with USDT and USDC plus a few others as well. Bitcoin I think has 0.2 yield, so it's definitely something I was interested in. Again, I don't know the tax implications. It's always going to be different for different people in different states or different countries. So to be aware of all of that. Over the past 24 hours, we've seen Monero go crazy, Craig. Holy shit, it's up $30 literally since I last looked about 10 minutes ago.
Damn it. I should have just top blasted, man.
We spoke about
You
that
said
yesterday.
that. I think this
Levi,
is so
get the
annoying.
clip,
I keep doing this. I just need to ape this stuff.
Oh,
Oh
shit,
my
it is
God.
pumping.
Oh my God, Levi, we literally had the clip yesterday where we spoke about, should we just top blast this? This would be a great follow-up to literally have, look at this chart, 6:30. I literally said, Craig, it's probably not a bad top blasting opportunity. And look at this daily chart. It's like clockwork though. Like you had a beautiful cup and handle. This is on like a very high time frame too. Breakout, retest of the breakout of this previous high from May 25. And obviously you have the Zcash FUD. This is, yeah, I said $1,000. This definitely hits $1,000 in my opinion. Brent, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the privacy narrative probably continues to do well. And if, again, we'll go over Bitcoin. If Bitcoin and ETH and the rest, the majors do get a bounce here, I could see Monero and then Zcash continuing to do well.
What do you own both or either or none?
To be honest with you, I own a bit of Zcash. I just huge on not chasing stuff. Like, I'm not a big top blasting guy. I know a lot of people do well top blasting stuff, but I just like to stick to the rules and really enter stuff hard during corrections. And I really just was not on the ball with the privacy stuff. So I have a little bit of Zcash, but no. But it's been crazy to see these runs.
Okay, Craig, you don't own either, do you?
No, regretfully, I do not. And I was the same as Bren. I kind of didn't have my finger on the pulse of the privacy. And same as Bren, same as you actually, Green, you and I tend not to chase. So it kind of goes against all my rules chasing this. But then part of me goes, do I break my rule for this one coin? But then I watch this, guys. If I top blast Monero, it's going to dump, man. It does it every time. So I'm like, I almost just can't do it because I want to stick to my rules. But then maybe I just put $1,000 in it just to scratch that itch, man.
Well, the good part about, and I was going to mention this earlier, the good part about most actual Australian exchanges is that we do have Monero accessible to buy. So
do you?
I'm pretty sure we do. I haven't checked them for a while, but they do have Monero on there. So that's something to be, an advantage of us living in Australia. Is Zcash a buy here then? If it's in a corrective wave, high or low here, bouncing from the golden pocket of the swing little range here as well. Is this, boys, is this a buy? What's your average buy for this, Brent?
I think I bought it during the last, let me look. I think I bought it, like 185. So I'm up like probably X on it.
Okay.
I think what Zcash is going to do is going to be highly dependent on what the majors do here. I do see it. You said it is kind of in a corrective wave. I do agree. Not a lot of consolidation on top, indicating that this is like a longer term reversal. So the way just looking at this and then what I know or what I, my belief in what Bitcoin's going to do, I do think Zcash maybe comes down a little bit, maybe chops. And then if the majors do give us some type of bounce, probably send back towards all-time highs. Long term, medium to long term, I think the privacy narrative will continue to do well. And I've heard people make cases that like even big institutions may need to like hedge against the quantum computing thing, even if it's a tiny, small, whatever, and something like, Monero with the privacy stuff. So yeah, long term, I think it continues to do well.
Okay. We talked about all the news topics. Let's dive into the charts. Let's dive into your specific story. How long have you been in crypto? Give us a quick, brief introduction about like what your journey is in this space.
Yes, sir. So started in 2016 with Forex. I was actually on Facebook, crazy enough, doing some other kind of like online business stuff. Since I was 17, 18, was just like really interested in how I can make money online. So I did some affiliate marketing stuff, like network marketing stuff like that. And then during that same time, when I was like 19, found Forex. And I've always been somebody who really likes to learn about history and just kind of what's going on in the world. So it really tied into that. Really kind of where I learned the charts. And then quickly after that, in the same kind of groups on Facebook, found crypto during the first 2017, 2018 or 2016, 2017 run. Kind of like you said with NFTs, I didn't really have a lot of capital. So, made a little money, lost a little money. But in that next few years during that bear, continue with the Forex stuff, but really started to learn about Ethereum, crypto, like started to realize that, you know, this isn't just like a speculative thing, that this technology could become like the next version of like the internet. So started buying a lot of ETH, stuff like that with my expendable income back in that time. And then on YouTube, found Elio Trades, the guy Lark Davis, a lot of these guys. And I don't know if you guys, I haven't asked you guys a story yet. How have you guys, when did you start? Around that same time? Both of you?
Yeah, I joined in 2016 as well. I was in a gambling group, arbitrage betting, and some guy was like, "Hey, check out crypto, like sign up here."
There you go. But yeah, around that same time though, with like Lark Davis and all them, back then it was like there was these coins were down like 1, 2, 3 million, and there was like these AI coins, gaming coins, where there were like these pretty quality projects, but there was just no interest on crypto. So I was able to enter a lot of these coins at like 3, 5, 10 million, and then you know my however 5 figures, 10, $20,000. A lot of those coins went 10, 20, 30, 40x. During that 2021, 2020 bull run. Took a lot of profits, obviously not as much as I would have liked, but was able to kind of quit my job and go full-time in crypto literally probably like 3 weeks before the Bitcoin top, like in 2021. But kind of, you know, saved enough and you know, was able to continue with the crypto stuff, kind of doubled down on the chart stuff and the crypto stuff during the NFT time. Still did some trading in there too. And then kind of when meme coins came around, with Mog, SPX, Giga, kind of had a lot of a repeat of that 2021 where I was able to 10, 20, 30x a lot of these coins. And really kind of gave me like a, you know, real renowned excitement in crypto. Started the Telegram group with my buddy Bossman. He actually started it in like early November or early 2023. Joined up with him then at like 300 members, and then now since then we've been able to grow, you know, to 40,000 subs, I think, from all over the world. So that's been an absolute blessing to be able to post in there every day. But yeah, been a long journey, about almost 10 years now in crypto. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but just the last few years, last thing I'll say is like, I remember back in 2016, 2017, people were talking about how Bitcoin could be this huge, you know, thing. And we're just seeing all that adoption people talked about like 10 years ago playing out now. So I'm extremely excited about the future.
What was your first buy, Breen, when you got into crypto? What did you get for? Was it Bitcoin or was it more exotic?
That's a good question. Definitely, I want to say Bitcoin for sure. Yeah, definitely Bitcoin during its first run. I remember like being really skeptical at first. I remember with like the Forex stuff, like I was just like, this is going to be a quick kind of run. And then obviously I think Bitcoin is like like maybe under 1,000. And then it started running to 10, 15,000. Wow. Everybody got sucked in. But yeah, I want to say Bitcoin first. And then really, I think a lot of like maybe altcoins on like Coinbase and stuff I was buying.
Yeah. Back in that 21 bull run, alts were going mental, weren't they? That's when I got started back in Feb 21. I went full time then and just bit the bullet and just decided this was something I wanted to get into. And obviously everything pumped, alts pumped, and then they died and didn't really all come back at all since then, strangely enough. I think 2017 was probably pretty good for them. And then 21 was good. And then 24's been selected alts, hasn't it, really? It hasn't all run like last time.
Yeah. It's been memes and Bitcoin and Sol for the most part.
Yeah, which has actually been pretty good.
So, Brandon, I know you. I've tuned in to your show a few times. I know Craig has as well. Talk to us about what your take is on the market right now before we obviously have a little bit. Maybe it's going to be a debate. Maybe it's not going to be a debate. We'll have to wait and see. Brad, what's your take on the market? Top down.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I think a lot of during these times you hear a lot of people talking about like, you know, the trenches and the pump fund, like not pump fund, but the launch pads and everything, kind of blaming the launch pads and everything and all these different reasons for why the altcoins, especially in memes and stuff, haven't been doing well. But generally, I think everything in crypto is driven by Bitcoin and the majors, really.
Yeah.
You literally, just so much so is even the pump fund volume. If you I wish I would have had this available, but like you overlay the pump fund volume history over a Bitcoin chart, it's essentially the same thing, right? Yeah. Bitcoin, the last 3 years in crypto since 2022 has essentially played out the same way. This is how it's been. Bitcoin comes out of that 2022 correction, goes up, meme coins go crazy. the pump fund trenches go up, altcoins, some of them go up, then Bitcoin comes down and corrects for a couple months. Everything does the complete opposite, right? Now, I say that's to say that obviously this move down from 127K down to 77K is definitely on Bitcoin is definitely more violent and quicker. It's more evident in the 200 moving average. I don't know if you guys use moving averages. Yeah. So obviously it came down way harder and through that moving average on the 200 daily moving average versus the other corrections we've seen barely dropped under them. So I definitely understand why people are a little spooked, and it is a definitely more violent move. You know, on that, you know, the last few months. With that being said, I'm a big chart guy. I definitely do like to look at the charts, especially the higher time frame charts. But if we look at everything outside of the price action, right? We're looking at the institutional stuff, which we talked a little bit about, only continuing to grow. I think crypto's made it. It's only going to continue. You know, all the SEC and all of us has told us they're going to put all markets on chain. You have the regulatory stuff continuing to grow. Macro conditions are only continuing to improve. And then risk assets are at all-time highs, right? So everything outside of price action, extremely bullish in my eyes. And then really the reason why I believe we're going to get at least a bounce, at least we're talking Bitcoin, probably to high 90s, maybe into the hundreds, chart-wise, is because of this 8 weeks of consolidation we got since November 21st, where we hit 81K. If you look at and again, higher time frame charts, I think that's where a lot of the alpha and the value is chart wise. We look at what has ended every single one of these corrections. I'm talking April of 2025, July of 2024, 2023, all these corrections. What is that one thing that's ended them is 3 to 8 weeks of consolidation. Okay. Now that's what we're seeing here on, above 81K. And I believe, just like we saw those 4 other times in the last 2022 after these big corrections, that this consolidation is going to lead to a bounce. Now, like the last thing is once we've broken above those consolidation highs at 90, like we're seeing here at 94K, back in those other corrections, 4 out of 4 times since 2022, once we've broken above those consolidation highs, Bitcoin has made a new all-time high. Right now, is this time different? Are we going to make a new all-time high? Are we going to go down into a bear market? I think that's going to depend what we do on this next bounce. If it's a violent bounce that takes us above that 200 moving average straight to 120K, which I think is possible. That's not what people are expecting at all, but I think is possible. Or scenario 2, where if we were to get this bounce, maybe we chop up a little bit and fail to break above that 200 moving average. And at that point, I could see us rolling back over maybe into the 70s one more time. But not to go too much into it, I know I'm going on a rant. Short term,
no, it's good.
Yeah, short term, I think we're going to get a bounce and probably be cleared above 94K into the hundreds. From there, we got to see. I personally think my base case, because of everything is so bullish outside of price, I still think maybe 70-80% chance that we do get a move back to all-time highs, believe it or not. But I can totally see if we get this bounce, we fail to break, the 200 moving average. Maybe we stop it at 99, 101, whatever. I could definitely see a move back down into the 70s for like a final bear market low before we climb higher. Maybe the end of this year, next year, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Greeny and I that's sort of on the same track as us to a certain degree, Greeny. Percentage-wise, we might flip it out, but those other 2 scenarios we're kind of watching, aren't we?
I definitely think there's a position here for us to be bullish, at least in the start of this year. But I would argue on higher time frames, it doesn't look good for later in the year. I know fundamentally it looks really strong, and I think that's why I'm actually so bullish to probably buy a shit ton of crypto later this year, because charts will play out. But again, nothing repeats, it all rhymes. But there are a lot of similarities to how price action is played out compared to 2021. And as you say, Brent, I agree. Like, unless we flip high time frame levels, I think we do continue down in the 70K, even 60K region, potentially lower, depending on circumstances worldwide with tariffs and Trump volatility. Who knows? You never know what happens. Usually these sort of black swan events happen once a trend is taken place, like the whole FTX stuff that happened as we were already dumping. So that naturally pushed us a little bit lower. So everyone's always like, oh, news moves price. It's not really. Price is already playing out as it is. News just fast tracks whatever the move is, whether it's bullish or bearish.
Can I share one more chart so I can kind of show
Absolutely,
you?
mate. Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
Let's see real quickly. I just want to potentially, if you're looking at these higher time frame charts too, one scenario if we do get this bounce, like I was saying, this 200 moving average, this red one I have, the reason why it's important is because it's consistently shown us whether we're in a correction or like a bear market. I think we're going to get a bounce probably above 100. If we were to get a bear market, potentially we could kind of peter out below that 200 moving average and move down. I just want to show in 2021 really quickly, what did we do? You were kind of showing it a second ago. In 2022, Bitcoin came down kind of like we did now, bounced like I was saying, but as you can see, failed to break that 200 red moving average and then came back down one more time. I think that's kind of the bear case, is if we do fail to break above that 200 moving average, I could see, like you were saying, a move down in the 60s or 70s. But I think if you kind of are trying to determine that, or maybe you're trading leverage or whatever, I would be looking at how fast and quick this move is if we do get this bounce, and how it performs at that 200 moving average.
What about, I use a 21 EMA on the weekly. That's coming in at around that 97 or 98, let's call it, just below there. So, I mean, if we look at that in history as well, historically, if you show weakness above that level, or you can't confirm that as support once price gets back above it, that pretty much does confirm that lower high that we're speaking about. And a bearish trend. And I'm not saying, and I think a lot of people maybe misinterpret my bearishness. Like, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to crash to 30K. I'm just saying we're in a corrective wave for probably the next 6 months, 12 months, maybe not even 12 months, like 6 to 9 months potentially, unless we get back above key levels. Being 98 to 100 is very, very important. There's a lot of confluence there. 0.5 of the range, 21 EMA. We've also got the 5 EMA. I think we're bouncing on other time frame as well. You've got liquidity, you got the psychological level there, you've got order blocks there, you got FEGs there. There's a lot of confluence around that level. If we flip that, then I think we hit 107 quite aggressively, potentially up to 110, 112. But if we don't flip that 107 to 110, 112 region, I very much think that is a confirmation of the lower high, and we probably aggressively move back down and probably have a bit of a bear market this year. I do think we do. I think 27, a lot of people are like, oh, 26 is the last year to make money. You see that chart going across crypto Twitter. It's like 26 is a good, like across the history. It was that farmer guy who created it. 26 is the last time to make money. And then it's like, usually it's like not as good after that sort of years. I disagree. Like, I mean, I would say 26, we're starting to already see price being different to what it was in previous cycles. We front run the pre-all-time high this time before the halving. Even though the time from the bear market low to the current high is right on path to 2021, I think we're going to not go as deep in the bear market. And I think the time component will probably be extended in a bear market before we have that next aggressive move up, boys. What do we think? Are you guys agreeing with me there, or you disagree? Totally fair, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for sure about the second part, where I don't think, even if we do get that second leg down, like I showed the example of 2021, right, where it was after the first bounce, it went down 75%. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're in a completely different world, institutions, ETFs, all of that. But I do agree, if either from here or a bounce and then we peter out, I think it's probably just a matter of 6, like you said, 6 to 9 months. If you're in the space right now and, you know, you're already hanging out anyway, doing whatever else, working, going to school, it would just be another, 6 to 9 months being able to sharpen your skills and whatever else. A lot of people think bear market and they think, oh no, like that must mean a 2 or 3 year thing. Like I see it all the time. But this is why looking at higher time frame charts is so key, because even in the worst of bear markets, guys, back in 2021, where SEC was attacking crypto, there was no institutions, FTX was happening. We're talking about 12 months from peak to top. Same thing in 2016, 2017. So we're already about 3 or 4 months from the top or whatever. Even if we were to get the worst of bear markets, which I don't think will happen, you hang out for another 6 to 9 months, and I think that's about it anyway.
I agree with Bren there. I think people misconstrue, Greenie, sometimes what could be considered bearish price takes in the near future to longer term bullishness, and vice versa, shorter term bullishness for longer term bear market. And I think they look at what Bren said there is right. I think people, when they hear bear market, first of all, they freak out. And I don't think they quite understand. Like for me, I did as well. My first run, I heard about the scary bear market, and I was so resistant to it. And then it came along, and it's just not as bad as, first of all, it's not as bad as you think. Second of all, I made more money there than I did in the bull run prior. So I made more money in the bear than I did the bull, probably experience being the main reason for that. But the second reason being you can buy stuff at local lows or all-time lows sometimes. So it's an opportunity as well. And the problem, not the problem with the market at the moment, one of the tricky parts is buying here. We could see lower in the nearer future. Whereas if we actually go into a proper dip/bear market for say 6 months, it's a really good time to buy. And it's actually, I feel like trading goes easy mode for a while, because eventually when you bottom out, I'm not saying it can't go lower, but your downside risk is lower than now. We're at this point, we're on a knife's edge really now. We either break above 100 and we, like Brent said, maybe we see a new all-time high, or we're probably seeing 70K. Yeah. So I'm almost like, for me, I don't know what other people like. I'd almost, look, I want to go to all-time high. That's great. I'd like to get my exit at about 100, 107 if I can, God willing. But if not, I'd like to just rip the Band-Aid, send it to 70K. I buy up, I back the truck up, I buy a whole heap of stuff, and I just DCA, and then I slowly scale out as we go up again. And experiencing that last bear market, for everyone who's new-ish and hasn't been through one, stick around. It's very good. It's the easiest money I made was in buying those lows, Greeny, and you would have been the same. And Breen, you asked how long we've been streaming. I think we just ticked over 2 years, didn't we?
Yeah, December 23 is when we first started streaming together.
So we were kind of here at the start of the bear, well, not the start of the bear tour. We were streaming during those lower prices. Certainly, we caught some big wins there. I mean, we were hitting 30Xs then. A 30X now is quite hard to find.
So rare.
Like, I'm not hitting 30Xs, guys. So anyone else is
a white whale. That's about it.
Oh, dude, don't. Oh, dude, I got out of that, and I had no money on chain. I bought like 3 Sol at like 17 million, and I'd sold out at 60. I was like, whatever, that's a 3X. I haven't seen a runner like this in months. I'll happily take it. Whereas like I saw Shark FC, like he's an Aussie, and he's a degenerate, and he got in at 1 million. So he would have thrown probably 5-10 grand. He'd be up so much fucking money. That guy.
What was that on Greeny? Sorry,
white whale.
Oh,
I got it at 3.5. I didn't buy as much as I wanted, but I definitely.
Oh shit, dude! Congrats, that's so good.
I totally faded that call. I fumbled that so badly. I saw it at 20, and I was so scarred from meme coins, how they'd behaved for the last year, that I thought 20. I'm not top lasting. Same thing as Zcash. Same thing as Monero. And it's one of those. There's been 3 coins you probably should top last: White Whale, Monero, and Zcash. Those are your top last. You did pretty well. Monero hasn't proven that yet, though, but maybe. And I sort of sorry, Brent.
White Whale's 170x in a month, almost 30 days.
Yeah. 5 weeks or so is crazy. Okay. I mean, let's talk on that. So before we move on to memes and stuff, what is your target for Bitcoin by 2030? Target for 2035, Brent? Like, talk to us.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, as far as 2030, I think. I like the whole bit. I like the $1 million target, and it probably won't. It'll probably hit like years before that or a few years after, right? But I think 2030, I think $1 million makes sense. I do think I think if we do start to see countries buying and these bigger players, I do think the moves up will become more exponential over time, and to a certain point, until we get to $1 million. I do think. 2030, even if we were to continue to follow 4-year cycles, that's like a couple cycles worth of activity. So yeah, I think by 2030, which again is like 4 years from now, 10x would make sense. 2035, I do buy into a lot of what Sailor says, that we'll get to a certain point to where if it is adopted and so far into the financial system, that it will just continue to go up over time. So I like about $1 million by 2030, and then just up from there over time until obviously it will peter off, just like gold did for a while, even though we're seeing that run like crazy. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think, what do you think, by 2030? And then do you think Bitcoin, now that gold's run so crazy, that it will flip gold, or what are your thoughts on that?
What do you think, Ray?
I think total crypto market cap gets to 100 trillion eventually. Whether that's 5 years or 10 years, that's the hard. Like that's basically a 33x from here. Bitcoin, let's say, makes up 20% of that, 25% of that. That puts it at what, $250 billion or no, 250 trillion. No, 20. God, I'm so sorry. My math is up. $25 trillion, which puts it on level with gold, I think, where that is currently. I think it flips gold maybe eventually. Depends what happens with the quantum computers side of things and the real world adoption of Bitcoin. The issue I have with crypto is, like, obviously stablecoins will make up a lot of the market cap in years to come, and that might very much outpace Bitcoin. But I do think Bitcoin does transact up in the future for sure. Yeah, look, my targets, are probably a little bit more bearish. It takes a lot of liquidity to move like an asset 10x to 1 million, but I do think that can happen in 10 years time. I do think that does happen. What's your bearish case for Bitcoin? Do you think the quantum computers is a real concern in about 5 to 10 years time?
Yeah, see, like I've definitely watched maybe 3 or 4 interviews with people on kind of both sides of that. I'm not going to pretend like I understand that like crazy, but I do think it makes sense that there's so much at stake for the people to defend against that too, that just like there's so many people trying to build the quantum computers, there's probably way more money trying to defend against it. I think BlackRock like runs the world, and they probably wouldn't have done this Bitcoin ETF if they thought there was like even a 10% chance of it happening. And I think they talked about it in there. So I would say that probably like most things, they're just going to defend against it. What's the bear case? I think the bear case is if there's somehow, the whole debt situation where, everybody assumes they're going to just be able to print money, and they're just going to continue to kick the can down the road. Maybe if something broke, like all the banks fucking went went whatever, and then something with risk assets, we entered some type of like global recession or depression, I think that's where Bitcoin doesn't go up. I think other than that, if they continue to print money, Bitcoin, especially with institutional stuff, is going to continue to go up just based off of that alone. And then on top of that, you obviously if to get it to 1 million, I totally agree, Greeny. It would take countries and sovereign wealth funds and like big players buying it. But I mean, I think the signs are there that could potentially be starting, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think 2035 for me for a mil would be a sort of my target. But I think the good news is, as countries start to buy it, other countries will be forced to buy it as well, just as a protective nature. So if America's got it on their balance sheets, other countries have it on their balance sheets. I think other countries are almost going to have their hands forced to have some on their balance sheet just in case, which is good enough for me, because if all the countries around the world have to buy a little for them is a lot for us. So like what you said, I can't imagine a world where Bitcoin's price in a decade isn't at least 5x from here, 3x from here, and that's conservative. So like we were saying, the bear market, when it comes, which it will, and if we get an entry at 70k, 60k, if we went down to something as low as 50, man, like buying it now, buying it then, and then with a long-term view, even if you're a poor trader, not financial advice, you probably will end up in profit if you don't try and overplay your hand and you just sit tight and ride the volatility. Or if you want to swing it, like I kind of tend to do, I like to do that. And that's why I think what you said so true on the higher time frames. It's great to look at these charts, and I sort of had to get out of looking at when I first got into crypto, I was big on the 15-minute. I think I was always on the 15-minute chart, probably on the hourly. Yeah. And then I learned over time, all that did was mess with my emotions, because those little intermediate moves over longer term, being years, meant nothing. It just messed with my emotions. Whereas if you go to I like the weekly and monthly. That just gives you a really good understanding, I think, of the trend as well for anyone out there. If you're on the 15-minute chart looking at Bitcoin, I think you're probably looking at it wrong, unless you're in perps or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Brent, talk to us. What are you most bullish on right now? What are you holding? What are your price targets? Have you scaled out some profit on White Whale? Talk to us about your current on-chain plays.
For sure. Yeah. So White Whale, like, was a blessing. It was like the first sub 10 million coin that I bought in probably a few months. To me, the White Whale, I know most celebrities or even crypto Twitter like launches from whatever, usually they peter out. But the white whale to me seemed like a real like she's just different. Like it seems like really like in tune with crypto Twitter and just like a huge following. And I think he said in a post that, you know, essentially alluding to like this is something bigger for him. It's like a bigger play, kind of something symbolic that he wants to do. And then obviously, I think they have a lot of supply control on it. I think it's just evident that he was trying to do something bigger and something with it. And then, yeah, it's just been a blessing. It's been the outlier in the market. And how I kind of do in general is I think the biggest thing, if you're listening to this right now, other than continuing to watch great streams like this and like learning overall, you want to have a profit taking system set up because most people in crypto make like have a couple great plays once in a while, but very few people come out with money. And that's because they're just at the whim of their emotions. So you want to set up a profit taking system. Really what it is just taking partial profits at certain milestones. Whether, you know, for me, I trade bigger swings. So 3 to 5x, I'm taking 25% off. 10x, I'm taking another 25% off, so on and so forth. So that's kind of how I played the white whale. Took about 25% off at, about 5x, which is about 20. And then when it got up to like 100, I took another 25% off, still holding 50%, and really just holding and see where it goes from there. I think white whale will continue to, if the market is able to catch a bid here, I could see white whale continuing up, but also, could make a big correction at any time.
Well, it is down 25%. Yeah, it is down 25% overnight. So
I saw some guy sold $1 million, like I clipped $1 million or something off.
Really?
Oh, imagine! Oh, dude, meme coins are crazy. I love our industry.
I dream of the day I can just nuke a chart, man. And just go see us suckers and pull a mill out and go, that's me, I'm done. Like,
let's go. No, make sure to do it
out. That's the first big dip. Jeez.
Yeah.
I've looked at this today.
Yeah, this is the first big dip we've had at the 382 now, actually. So
this is where we see conviction come in, right? Is this going to recover, or is this down now?
Pretty strong, pretty impulsive. I could see a bigger correction start here, maybe a bounce and then, a bigger one. But to answer your question, Greeny, what overall, what do I believe in this market is I like to mostly keep most of my portfolio in like the investor bucket at all times. Maybe 60 to 70% plus is in Bitcoin, ETH Sol stables, some higher conviction alts. And then really altcoin wise, what I believe will do well when Bitcoin and the majors, like I said, which drive everything, do bounce back, is the things that have done well every single time Bitcoin's bounced back in the last couple years. And that for me, meme coins, I don't, despite what everybody else thinks, most people think, I know they've been down mostly for a year, but really look what the top memes did just in April of 2025. Most people don't realize MOG, SPX, Giga, Pepe all bounced 5 to almost 10x once Bitcoin bounced, but Bitcoin only went up 2 or 3 months. So it didn't give the memes and the alts enough time to really make all-time highs. Yeah. So to me, if Bitcoin is to have a bounce here, even a temporary one, what I believe in most is the two sectors, right? Movement coins. I used to call movement memes. I still think they're memes, but they've separated themselves apart. The MOGs, SPX, Gigas, ticker Bitcoins, really, USDUC is a smaller one, but they've all survived these 50 to 90% corrections multiple times. The supply distribution, good, and all that. And then the other side of that kind of barbell I have is like revenue producing coins, the Hype, the Pump, the Aster, and then the Token Works coins on like the Punkster, a few of the others that are connected to good like NFT projects. Again, I know Pump is down, bad, Hype, a lot of these others, but again, just look what happens when Bitcoin bounces out of these. The Pump fund volume goes back to all-time highs or close. I think we're going to get some, even if we got half of that again, I think something like Pump does really well. So yeah, the two categories I'm really DCAing into, with the understanding that, like Craig said, we could go down to the 70s one more time. I'm only really buying stuff that I really believe in. It is the movement coins, the 3 to 6 coins in there, and then maybe the 5 to 7 coins in that revenue mode. Just DCAing, again, hoping for the best that we do go to all-time highs here, but understanding we could be in this for another 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, I'm very much on high time frame, higher low watch for Pepe, Pengu, SPX, Farcoin, MOG, Dogecoin, Rect even in a way, Bonk as well. Like those just scream, like we just saw it, like they went up 70%, right? And I don't even own any Bitcoin right now because I think I probably get it lower. I mean, I'm happy to be sidelined to that if it runs to 120. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's only a $30,000-$40,000 move, which is 40%. I'd rather, if that runs to 120, my rec trade probably makes me 5x. My Ponke, not my Ponke, my Pepe trade or something like that could make me 3x, right? So again, I'm more of a risk taker. I'm more of an active trader. That's a different approach because I've been doing this now a long time, and that's what we do in the community. Day trading as well on perps. So, like, give us a chart that you like the look of right now. Give us some alpha today right now.
Okay.
On the spot.
Man.
On the spot.
Yeah. Damn, you're putting me on the spot, Greeny. Damn it. No. I think we are. We didn't really talk about it, but I do think ETH and Bitcoin. Actually, let me look at the right now. Nothing's changed. I do think we probably do come down. The way that ETH and Bitcoin are looking, I do think we do come down probably one more time to 2,800. But again, I think the most important thing to look at is that higher time frame consolidation, pretty much undefeated. Whenever Bitcoin consolidates for more than 2 or 3 weeks after one of these corrections, almost always leads to a big bounce. So the alpha, I think, is for me getting those coins that I really have high conviction in, the SPX, Pengu and Rector, another one, tie right into that movement stuff. Get those while you can on the way down here. I know a lot of people are going to be fudding, especially on the way. If we get to 2,700, I guarantee you the main consensus on Twitter is that we're going to go lower, and it's going to feel really uncomfortable to buy. I actually put out a clip like the other day. Like, the reason why very few people, I feel like, don't come away with profits in crypto is because the times you should be buying, which again, right now, or if we get another leg, it feels like crap. Everybody's fudding. It feels like physically bad to buy. And then the times that you should be selling or taking profits, everybody's hyped. It's really hard to sell, right? So the alpha, I think, is challenge yourself, even if it's a little bit of money, is buy the dip, even if it feels like shit on the way down, because historically, especially on good coins, those end up being really good entries.
100%. That's like, it's one of my favorite catchphrases to use over the past like 3 years. Everywhere I go is so many people leave crypto during fear. That's the most important time for you to stay. And so many people come back during euphoria, and then they wonder why they don't make money because they're doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. So you really should be looking to walk away from crypto when everyone's euphoric, when everyone's talking about it, when everything's at all-time highs, and you should be walking back into crypto when everything has come down a little bit or is consolidating sideways.
Exactly. And it's way easier said than done. Like, think about the last 3 or 4 months. Like, you know, we have the blessing to be able to do streams and like really have something to focus on. But like the average crypto participant, you're either losing money or you're like really bored, or maybe you hit white whale and a few of these other coins this year. But it just goes to show, it's like during these times, everybody says buy the fear, like it's the biggest, most well-known saying. But buying the fear, it feels like shit, or it's like really boring at times. But I mean, just zoom out, and you if this is your first cycle, you experience this yourself, it's always the best time zooming out to be involved, and then those buys as well on the right coins.
Yeah, and I think if you've got a long enough time horizon, I think that's probably the key too. You're not going to make a lot of money overnight. It takes skills, plans, processes, community, friends, whatever it is, to find those opportunities. You're only going to do that if you probably have a longer term time horizon and know that it's consistent compounding that will probably lead you to wealth in this industry.
Exactly, you nailed it.
Brent, anything else you want to touch base on at the end of the show? If not, mate, thanks so much for jumping on with us today. Happy to discuss, NFTs. I'm holding some Moonbirds. They're pumping a little bit. Hopefully they can make me a bit of money before their TG. Is there anything else you want to talk about today?
NFTs real briefly. I think we're entering an era of like collectability where, NFTs are really early as far as like mainstream. Like, I think they are going to be like eventually, as everything turns digital, like you were saying earlier, become the next form of collecting. Like, everybody's collecting Pokemon cards right now. And I think the NFT projects that model themselves to attract the most people, like 99% of people outside of crypto, are going to do really well. And that might not be exciting to the timeline right now. A lot of people actually might be fudding those projects. But I'm really bullish on, other than the Pudgies and Apes and the Punks, I think will do really well. There's a sector of NFT projects that are really big collector bases, really heavy on community, like the GVC. Obviously, that's why I changed my PFP. V Friends, I'm a big collector in that. Quirkies, what chimpers. I think those projects are really underrated price wise to community. And I think there's an exciting kind of wave happening here. And I think NFTs are a mainstream catalyst, whether it be a GTA type thing or a Rolex or one of these adopting the technology away from potentially another kind of big bull run. But even if we don't get that, I think NFTs are going to continue to grow the collectability wise. And I think they're inevitable over time. I mean, what do you guys think?
I agree. I was going to ask follow up to that. How would you rank NFTs? These, like, what would you put as your top 3 or your top 5?
So for me, I think I'm most bullish on like kind of 3 categories, which is like the digital art / CryptoPunks. Obviously, CryptoPunks are on their own. I don't think like they don't really have to do anything else from here because they're the original kind of provenance story. Everybody says, oh, everybody's just going to flood into NFTs to flex. I think that's going to happen for sure for CryptoPunks no matter what. And then there's the IPs. I think there's going to be 5 to 10 IPs that actually turn into like huge IPs that everybody loves. I really, obviously the Pudgies and Apes, obviously there. To me, the V Friends, because I think Gary V, right now he's seeing, he's kind of not winning over a lot of people, but really coming ingratiated with a lot of the community where he wasn't last few years. Yeah. I think just for the reason I said before, V Friends, they're on Whatnot, which is a live shopping platform where they're literally onboarding non-NFT collectors. I've seen hundreds of them happen over the last couple months directly into the NFTs, which I don't see happening in any of these other NFT projects. So I'm really bullish, obviously, on the CryptoPunk stuff like V Friends, Pudgies, and really projects that I believe have the chance at building an IP, like maybe not as big as Pokemon, but like where people actually love having nothing to do with the actual speculation side. So top 3, I'd probably say, really, I would say the CryptoPunks, V Friends, I think is the most slept on, and then maybe one of the top projects that's newer that has probably the most upside potential, maybe like Good Vibes Club. Maybe a local top. I don't know about the short term. They're really kind of overrun right now. Yeah. But over 3 to 5 years, I think GVC does really well too.
They are clean. I do like them, Craig.
They're pumping at the moment, aren't they? Good Vibes Club.
Yeah, I think they're up from like 0.5 to almost an ETH like the last few days. But yeah.
Yeah, they've had a good run. I see the community out there. So they're one of the communities that I see Gary V stepping a bit more into the limelight as well.
Yeah.
With NFTs, which I guess is a good thing. No, I'm the same as you. I think just like altcoins and meme coins, selected ones will do very well, and then the 99% go to zero, as Gary V was saying back in 21. As much as I was resistant to hearing that, it's unfortunately unfolded, but the cream will rise, and I think the top ones will go really well, e.g. punks, and then you'll have a second tier down, which will go quite well, and then the ones below will just turn to dust, unfortunately. But that's the game, same as alt, same as memes.
What price do you buy, boy, a punk at?
I'm actually looking at a punk right now. I've just been meaning to get one for a long time, and I probably should before they get to fucking like a 300K floor. So, but what would I buy one at? I don't know. I guess as I'm looking out one right now, I would.
What's their floor at the moment, guys? For
90.
90. 50 on the buyer, Greeny.
50.
Give me 50.
I know you had one, Greeny. What price did you buy it at?
I bought it around this price in April last year. I then had to sell it because I got scammed. But I would have rotated out at 250. That was the guy. Like, I knew it was a trade. And that was like, I mean, you're dumb if you're not selling. That's US. So that in Australia is like $400,000. Instead, I got scammed. Like, instead, I got scammed that much. So fuck, that was great. Anyways, I'm probably the same as Craig. I'm greedy for lower. Like, I would probably consider 60. I would consider 60. Depends on what ETH is worth too. Like, if they go down to 20 ETH and what's that? ETH is worth 3K. Like, that's probably a buy. I think, like, and even as like a passive ETH play, like not even like the punk itself, like as an ETH. So no, it's hilarious actually. My guy who bought my punk, it was slightly above floor. He bought it off me. I think I lost USD value, but I made ETH. So I made 5 ETH, but lost, I think, 10 grand when I sold it. He then round tripped it all the way. He ran it all the way up to 250, and then he sold during the liquidation event, maybe. I know when it was super fearful. He literally dumped it onto floor, and it's not a floor punk, and he sold it literally for about 10 grand profit. I was like, you fucking idiot, bro! Like, what are you doing? But that just shows me so many people just don't get crypto. So yeah.
Oh, he probably needed it, but dude, that's rough. Probably reversed right after that, right? Back to
Oh yeah. I think they got back to 120 very quickly. Yeah.
I think bear market ETH in a bear market, those punks are going to be a buy just for a leveraged ETH play.
I
For
agree.
me, same as you were trying to do this run, Greeny. I'll be looking to do it next run when I've got a bit more capital behind me, because obviously, a buy like that soaks up a fair amount of money. But certainly, if ETH, 1,800 ETH or something like that, and then you can get a punk, man, yeah, I'll probably be. I think I won't call it an easy trade, but
It's just
yeah,
a safe
it's
trade.
a good one. It's quite safe for an NFT. I like that versus
A lot of people probably don't have this sort of money though, boys. Like you got to do. You got to remember.
Yeah, and it would be nice to flex a punk for a while, Greeny. I would love to take it for a spin. What was it like having a punk PFP? Did you feel like a king in the ring?
I got scammed because I owned a punk, so not good.
This is true. This is true.
Let's talk about this, because this is. I mean, Brent, do you have any time? Like we can stream for as long as we like. Yeah,
no,
easy.
For sure. No, I'm here.
Let's talk about that. What is the best, in your boys' opinion, the best PFP? Like, what is the most reputable PFP to be running these days? I would argue punks are obviously very well sought after. So if you're a high net individual, it makes a lot of sense to have that as your PFP. I would argue what has shifted more recently is pudgies really seem to be like, if you have a pudgy, you've got that trust, you've got that value. People, like, you've looked at companies, you've looked at a lot of people, like top creators, like even like Kane from bloody Infinex, he has a pudgy. So I would argue pudgies seem to be the number one. Obviously, 2 years ago, it was very much Bored Ape Yacht Club. I've seen a lot of obviously Good Vibes Club more recently as well. How would we rank that? Like, buying NFTs is a different conversation, but like from a CT's perspective, what do you boys think really works well as a PFP these days?
I think the punk, and you're probably right. I think punk and pudgy maybe are like right there next to each other, even though the punks are so much higher price, right? Like obviously, right? Way more. But I would say that, but I would say like if you have like a rare like hoodie punk or something like that, for the people that know, it might be like, separate itself. But I mostly agree. I think the pudgy and punks, just because of how big the pudgies are in the culture and how much they've done, kind of dominated the last few years. Like I think they're kind of right up there. But maybe punks a little bit more just because of the history and everything. But yeah, no, I agree.
Maybe a mutant ape, Greeny, might look great on you.
So scummy, man. So scummy.
That's probably the scammiest one of all, mutant ape.
Isn't it wild, Craig? The amount of like how crazy this is. They looked bloody good when they were worth $100,000.
They looked phenomenal, bro. I had to have one in 21. In 22, sorry. I was like, said to my wife, I remember saying it. I was like, as soon as I can afford a mutant, I'm buying one. Yeah. And then they dumped, and I was like, said to her, there's no way I'm buying. Idiots.
No, it's incredible, dude. That's it. It's like how quickly people are to buy, like, I remember V-Friends or any of these NFTs at like 100K or 200K. And then now it's like people are just hesitant to even buy like a $200, $300 NFT. It's crazy how sentiment and like overall crowd think has an effect on like the average person. And I think that's just like zooming out and trying to break away from that, I think is set yourself apart.
I really like Good Vibes Club. I'm actually having a look through the collection now. My trouble is like, I'm not going to like, I would buy something for a PFP, and like, I know my pudgy is very reputable. People know me as the pudgy guy, but it might be a tax loss harvest this year if nothing really comes to fruition as well. Dude, I was looking for a green trait to keep it on brand, but I can't really find something that's really sticking out to me just yet.
Yeah, I think right now there's not much.
The gold cowboy hat's unreal.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. The double gold.
So good.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. No, that was my first GVC. I've been, paying attention for a while, and then a lot of friends, a few friends like really got serious kind of in there. Yeah, I think it's a huge collector community. They're really like separating themselves right now. But what was I gonna say? Totally forgot.
What was the main reason for their pump of late? What are they doing better than everyone else at the moment?
I think really there's just a real like excitement in the community that there like isn't, where I think the excitement on Azuki, even Pudgy's apes is kind of going down because of the excitement like kind of dissipating from all the airdrop stuff. Yeah. And then there's just like a kind of the opposite for GBC, where it's maybe because it's newer, I don't know. It's just like a real community vibe that's going. And then on top of that, you got people like Gary Vee buying the rare one. You got Adam Weissman or whatever buying a 20 ETH one today.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it's a combination of just like overall participation, and then obviously the big names buying always propels floor prices up.
I could see you grinning with the Nakamigo.
Dude, no chance. No chance, bro.
Imagine that, bro. Oh, Bren, were you around when those were? I remember running those up for 0.007 or something like that. Up to
Yeah, I remember them.
I almost bought one of those snowman ones and PFP'd it, but then I didn't.
Bro, when that first minted, I started the first Frog Nakamigo group chat on Twitter back when it first minted, bro. It was the best times. Anyone who was around with NFTs back then, it was so fun.
Holy shit, 50 ETH.
Oh, 50 ETH, my bad. Damn.
Dude,
Wow.
that's fucking that's clean. I like that.
The 101s are sick.
Oh God, what are we doing? What have we become? So good.
I mean,
Damn.
I mean, like the floor goes up pretty quick here. I mean, I assume what have I got this in the right? Yeah, I do. But I mean, people would list if it gets back above 1 ETH, but there's a big separation there. Like as soon as unless I've got I haven't got anything.
They have a lot of contests and giveaways and shit that like incentivize people to not have stuff listed.
To not have it listed, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, the floor's quite thin, huh?
What suits me?
Oh, they got a nouns.
Let's see. What looks like greeny?
I'm such a floor buyer these days.
Like something that's green or something, like a green one.
Yeah.
That first one, Greeny, the first floor, man.
It's
Low-key. Why is that saying?
It's got the greeny hair.
I miss buying NFTs for fun. It was a good time. Good time. What? Okay. Maybe last topic. What do you think about Moonbirds here at 2 ETH ahead of their TGE? I own 2. I bought them I think I'm up about 0.4 ETH or something like that. I'm probably going to sell them into hype, which I'm sure a lot of people will probably try and do. But what are your thoughts on that whole trade?
Yeah, I don't have any Moonbirds. To me, I kind of think that they are at 2 ETH and even at like 1.5 when everything was coming down due to people holding for the airdrop. With that being said, I do think other than like GVC and maybe more than anyone, the Moonbirds have done more than anybody else. Maybe other side is really starting to come along too, but
yeah,
like with the trading cards, you know, and everything that they're doing, I think short term after the airdrop comes out, probably going to dump 50, 60, 70%, whatever, like most of these things do. But if they're able to settle NFT conditions, kind of turn around long term, I think it's all about the operator when we're talking about these IP things. That's why I have most of my portfolio NFT wise is in VFriends, because I just think Gary Vee above everybody else, like because Luca and all those guys are great too. But anyways, I think long term it's all about the operator, and I think Spencer's kind of proven himself to be a beast this year. So I could see him do well long term.
I agree. Send them to 10 ETH, Greeny, so we can get a taste of a good win, eh?
Imagine, Craig. I'd consider buying a punk if they got to 10 ETH. Like,
VFriends is pretty crazy. The only reason it's pretty crazy is because everything else is coming down like 60, 70%. And it stayed, I think it was at 1.4 and came down to like 1.2. And I think it's really just speaks to like the real collector base. There's people buying it the last several months because they're really trying to collect and be around. Whereas a lot of these other, projects are mostly flippers, mostly people in it to, see where the project goes as far as utility and everything goes. So yeah, I think VFriends is way ahead of their time, really.
That's interesting, eh? So what do you get do you get any, like if I buy one, like do you get anything or how's it work? It's just
so VFriends, I would argue it. Yeah, no, so VFriends has the most utility, more than you even think of, and usually the form of physical collectibles, right? That's the reason why I think they've done well too, is because they're releasing a lot of physical collectibles on the whatnot and onboarding a lot of people. The biggest utility I can think of really is 2 things. One, they released, I don't know if you guys are familiar with trading cards at all, but Topps with baseball is like the biggest, like one of the biggest card producers, whatever. They did a Topps Chrome VFriends, which the only other IPs that have had that is like Star Wars, Marvel, like all these huge ones. And anyway, like the Series 1 the VF1s right there, you could have access to buy a box for $100, and they over time, like over a few months, they went all the way up to $700. So essentially you got a 7x. I had like 25 of them at the time. I'm a degenerate, so I opened every single box, but you could have sold for like 15, almost $20,000 from there. And then pretty much, yeah, all the VF ones, you get access to all their physical collectible drops kind of at a discount. And then one of the gift code NFT, which is one of those two, actually got during that Topps Chrome one, got this like box that is going for over $7,000. So a lot of utility actually for the VF ones.
Yeah, cool. See, there's so much happening in this ecosystem of crypto that you don't even realize.
I've never even really looked at them, to be honest.
No, neither.
Yeah, I think they're really like, yeah, they're kind of outside.
It's inspired me to drop a collection of sketches I've done.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my son to get drawing, man, because I think he could be an artist. No, I get it. I get the collectability as well. And I come from a collector background. I used to collect comics, cards, figurines, all that geeky stuff. So I do appreciate there is people out there that really love collecting this stuff. And that's what it looks like VFriends is doing, because they don't, as far as I know, their price isn't going up due to an airdrop. So that's quite good to see an NFT collection actually hitting up in price, other than Punks, which doesn't have a token associated with it. I think that's a healthy sign, and thank God there's actually collectors coming to NFTs, because for a long time I wondered where they were. I was like, where are all the geeks that collect stuff rather than just wait for token? Like I'm the person I'm criticizing, though. I am the guy that buys for the token drop to flip. So
I mean, I'm a trader. I'll trade anything. So
yeah, I'll trade bloody corn or cacao if I have to. But
no, I've definitely gone from like being, even though I'm like a long-term holder, focusing a lot on the speculative side, what is NFTs going to do over the next year or 2 years, to being more of like a collector as well, which that's not really my background. I never really collected much of anything till now. But I think we just got to take a long-term vision on these things, and the ones that are about collectability, I think will win.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a good nearly end to the show. Is there anything else, boys, you want to talk about? I think that's been a great episode, Bren.
No, I'll just say I appreciate you guys for having me so much. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys for listening. You guys can check me out on Twitter for the most part. I am really getting serious on posting on other platforms as crypto kind of grows. You can find me at Bren Trades on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, like I said, YouTube, and then check out the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel in the bio. And other than that, guys, I would just say, like we were saying earlier, stay involved. Even if we're in this for another 9 months, worst case, the people that do well on the other side of this, other than buying and DCAing, are the people that just stuck around. Because like anything, it's easy if you get out of these things to lose momentum and to get back into it in the swing of things. It's better to stick around now. So I think the best is yet to come. Appreciate all of you guys listening, and thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for pulling up, Bren. I've followed you for quite a while now, and you're one of the guys who's stuck consistently through good price times, bad price times, and one of the streamers is actually using charts to explain things rather than America's buying prices going up a pin. So
yes, sir.
It's nice to see some level-headed people out there. So no, definitely appreciate your content. Give Bren Trades a follow. I think it's 2 S's on the end of Trades.
Yeah, just for Twitter and I think TikTok. Other than that, but yeah, if you type in Bren Trades, I'll be probably the first one.
He'll come up. Yeah. So now keep doing what you're doing. We'll have to get on your show sometime too, Bren.
Yes, I was about to say I was going to DM you guys after. Maybe like next week. I'd love to. What do you say?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely next week we'll have to set that up.
Yeah, legend.
No, I was just thinking. I think I've followed you since you're like 4,000, 5,000 followers on Twitter. So like we've connected for a long time.
Yes, sir. I don't know if you remember. I actually lost my Twitter for like 8 or 9 months during like I think when Bitcoin went from 20 to like 60. Got it back like a year ago from now. But yeah, I've been following both of you guys for a long time. And dude, thank you guys so much for having me on. We'll have you on my stream next week. It'll be fire.
Sounds good, man. No, appreciate it. And chat, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, check out Bren, as he just said, and thanks for tuning in as well. Make sure you click follow if you're watching us. If you like our rebrand, I think it looks bloody good. Make sure you smash the subscribe if you're also watching on YouTube. We've had a good amount of increase in, hey Craig, these thumbnails. It's worth it.
Working, man. The faces of delight are paying off, man.
Yeah. I mean, and my light is no longer a green room. It's actually like you can actually see me. So I think it definitely helps the optics for sure. But no, Bren, very much appreciate you jumping on and keen to chat on your show next week for sure.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
No dramas, mate. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bren. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And once again, thanks to all our viewers. Big thanks to our sponsors. We'll look at doing probably a giveaway later this week again, Greeny, for Yeats. So shout out to them. Go and give them a play, give them a punt. And also a massive shout out to OKX. our first partner. So shout out to you guys. If you're looking to trade a bit of spot, go and check them out. Links in the description. And again, shout out to Brent for pulling up, giving us an hour and a half of his time. Thank you very much. Thanks, Greenie. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time.